Good day. My name's Wayne Duvenage from the organization Undoing Tax Abuse, commonly known as OUTA. And I just want to answer this question, which we often get, by the way. It's one that where people ask us, why should I support OUTA? What have you done for me? Why is there any benefit for me in contributing to OUTA? And it's a good question, by the way. So the only way I can answer this is, well, what would have happened? What would have been if OUTA wasn't around? Well, first of all, we'd be paying e-tolls in Gauteng. We'd be paying for e-tolls, and probably in the Western Cape, because SANRAL was intent on opening up that process and their ideas to toll the freeways in and around the Western Cape as well. But in Gauteng, it took us 10 years to finally bring this irrational decision to an end. But let's park e-tolls, because that's what we're well known for. That's how we started. What else have we done? Well, if we didn't exist, I think another almost 2 billion rand would have been siphoned out the country for the Guptas from the Together mine rehabilitation funds. We had to stop that. The government's supposed to have done that work. They didn't. There would have been hundreds of millions of rands more lost to SAA had we not worked with whistleblowers and stopped some of the corrupt deals that were taking place. I think right now, Karpowerships, 3 ships would have been docked in our harbours, pumping out about 1.2 megawatts of electricity. Effectively about one stage of load shedding would have been negated by that. We've stopped load shedding. It comes down then, but we would have been locked into this 20-year deal, paying for electricity at 4 times the price. OUTA was very instrumental in stopping that absolutely grossly outrageous decision that government was trying to shoe in, and trying to do so through a declaration of disaster on electricity, which would have given the emergency powers to do that. We had to stop that, the president from introducing that state of disaster a couple of years ago. The people that were involved in corruption at NSFAS, the National Student Aid Finance Scheme, would have probably still been ensconced had we not put enough pressure on to get them out of that organization. We had to stop a lot of corruption related to our skills development levies. Look, I could go on and on. We've done 320 projects in the last, since 2016 to 2025. Some of them are short, some of them are very fast, but some of them are extremely long. They're costly and they save billions of rands, like the few that I've just spoken about now. And we're working on projects all the time, between 20 and 30, sometimes more projects open at any one time, dealing with corruption. We stopped the driver's license card machine recently, which was a grossly, we believe, a corrupt deal that was going down. Should never have cost the amount it was going to cost us had we not stopped it and given the Minister and the Auditor General that information. By the way, we work with the Auditor General's office often, giving them information on where to look and find and stop the deals that are going down in some of these state entities, government departments. We work with whistleblowers weekly. We're meeting new whistleblowers who give us more and more evidence to deal with corruption. We're dealing right now with corrupt driver's license, vehicle testing centers, providing that information to the authorities to tackle the scourge in this country, quite frankly. Far too many cars on our roads that are not roadworthy because of a massive scam in vehicle testing centers. The OUTA issues and matter we've been fighting for some time and will continue to fight as they try and roll out what we call a grossly inefficient system. It's going to collapse, as the e-tolls did, but it needs an organization to fight this, to bring to the attention of the Road Traffic Infringement Agency and others why the scheme is going to fail. They don't want to listen, so as they start launching it and try and give drivers demerit points, we're going to have to fight this matter. I could go on and on. I think just Google OUTA and you'll see the types of projects we're involved in. Now, what does your money do is the next question. If I give you funds, what does it do? Well, it pays for anything around 40 staff that we have, sometimes less, sometimes more, in this organization at any one time. We pay market-related salaries, we pay rent for our offices, data costs, storage costs, we have systems, project management systems, Microsoft Office licenses, the list goes on. Like any business, we have governance, we have finance people in the back office, HR, we have other support services that we have to have in an organization like this, IT. But really, you're funding project managers, you're funding investigators, you're funding legal people, communication specialists. And this team are passionately involved in trying to make South Africa better by getting in the way of corrupt individuals, people who abuse their power in government, and people who try and introduce inefficient policies, irrational policies that are not intent on providing the best services to society at any one time. This work is fluid, it's flowing, it's ongoing, it's fast-paced. And I just want to say this, that imagine South Africa without OUTA. You might say, well, none of that stuff that you've spoken about impacts me. Well, it does. Corruption impacts everybody. And worst of all, it impacts the poorest of the poor who cannot fight for their rights, who lose out on things when water isn't delivered, when corrupt deals go down, when education doesn't meet the needs, the skills development levies are lost to skills development needs, and so forth. It should not be something that I have to justify. I just know that everybody who donates to OUTA, whether it's 100 Rand a month, a lot of small businesses, medium-sized businesses give us a lot more, all of that money goes towards this non-profit organization. There are no shareholders in this organization. It's a public benefit organization that gives tax benefits to everybody who donates to us, by the way, in your tax returns. And all this work is good. It's good for this country. The people at OUTA are passionately doing active citizenry in a way that is very different to normal active citizenry. In fact, all our supporters are active citizens. And we don't have time as ordinary citizens to become active citizens because we've got our own lives to protect, our own lives to live, our businesses to run. And that's why organizations like OUTA exist, to make you proud of the fact that you can be an active citizen by just donating to OUTA and making a difference. So let me assure you, your funds make a big difference. Don't think that any donation to OUTA is wasted. This is good work done by a team of highly passionate, good people who want to make this country a far better place than what it is. Thanks for listening, and I hope you are a donor. And if not, I hope you become a supporter of OUTA. It's very easy. Just go to outa.co.za. That's outa.co.za. It takes a few minutes to sign up and be proud. Be proud of this country. It's a country worth fighting for. We cannot allow corrupt politicians to continue to run this country into the ground. Thanks for your support.